We're going to take a look now at a finger at approximately the metacarpal phalangeal joint, and we're going to be looking for an area that is commonly evaluated during trigger finger, which is going to be the A1 pulley. But again, we want to always start with the bone landmarks. So if you look at the screen, at the bottom of the screen where the arrow's pointed, currently is the phalanx. Then the rounded structure that you see is the metacarpal head. Sitting just superficial to the metacarpal head, the hypoechoic structure that's lining the bone and follows the contour of the bone is the area of the hyaline or articular cartilage lining the surface of the metacarpal head. Then you're going to see a medium gray echogenic structure that's in conjunction or lies just superficial to the hyaline cartilage, and where the arrow's pointing now is going to be the extent of the volar plate, which extends over the metacarpal head down to approximately this level of the metacarpal head. Now, going back onto the tendon structure, we've got the tendon of the flexor mechanism sitting just on top of the volar plate. I can see the tendon structure move by flexing the finger back and forth, and you can see the tendon structure move back and forth. Now, just superficial, again to the tendon, you're going to see a hypoechoic structure that sits on top of the metacarpal head, about the level of the metacarpal head, and it's this hypoechoic band of tissue that sits right over the metacarpal head. That is the cross-section area of the A1 pulley. Now, the A1 pulley is one of the more common pulleys involved in the area of trigger finger if the pulley gets swollen or the deep tendon gets swollen. Now, although the structure that we look at looks like one complete tendon structure, it's actually a combination of three separate tendons, two superficialis and the profunda. Now, how we can again separate the superficialis from the profunda is simply by isolating the distal phalanx. And if we move the distal phalanx, the tip of the phalanx, you can see one half of the tendon moving, which is the profunda. If I actually flex the entire finger, we can watch the entire tendon structure move, which is the superficialis and the profunda moving in synchronous movement. When we have trigger finger, what happens is that the superficialis tendon may end up hanging up or have a nodule on it, or the pulley can be thick, and in the movement, the tendon will not slide smoothly or synchronously underneath the A1 pulley. Turning the transducer now into a short axis, the orientation marker is now pointing to the patient's anatomic right. Moving the transducer, this is the patient's anatomic right or radial side. This is the patient's anatomic left or ulnar side. Now, if we start from the bone structure again, we're going to see the metacarpal head, the hypoechoic articular cartilage adherent and adjacent to the metacarpal head. The gray, low-level gray structure in short axis is the volar plate. The combination tendon structure sitting on top of the volar plate. And then the long axis of the A1 pulley going over the top of the tendon structure, sliding all the way to the other side. Now, on either side, I'd like to describe the A1 pulley that looks like a black wig laying over the top of the tendons. That's simple anisotropy. If I move the transducer over onto the radial side and angle back, now I can see the fibrillar pattern of the pulley structure. The same holds true if I move the transducer back over to the ulnar side and angle back. We will now see the architecture of the ulnar side of the A1 pulley. By centering the transducer over, again, the area of the A1 pulley, I can isolate the area of the profunda by moving the fingertip only, and you can see a little rocking back and forth in short axis of the profunda. And if I move the whole tendon structure, everything is moving in unison. As I slide the transducer towards the fingertip, you're going to see the division of the profunda and the superficialis into actually 3 separate tendon structures.